Okay, so all right, so here it is. It's another Thursday, and it is as promised. I'm going to give you a little bit more information about Ayurveda because it is Thankful Thursday and Temeaka Ayurveda night or day or whatever. So anyway, I just want to tell you a little bit more about the history of Ayurveda. Like I said before, Ayurveda is a very old medical system in India. Some people think that it is a religion. It is not. It is a medical system. It is what they use to treat people in India for what ails them. So, where we in the Western world provide prescriptions, in India, what they do is they provide prescriptions, but the prescriptions are for like herbs and things like sweat therapy and maybe some oleation. So, like things with oil, they might prescribe like massages or something that's called Panchakarma. And Panchakarma is like this deep detox. That's a whole nother issue. Starts with Paruva Karma, which is the stuff that you do going up to the detox. It's a practice that takes maybe about 2 to 3 weeks, but it gets you right. It's what I hear. Anyway, back to the history of Ayurveda. Again, like I said, it is, and I'm going to look at my notes from time to time so I don't get off track because if you know me, you know that's kind of easy for me to do, especially if it's something that I am passionate about. And I'm really passionate about the molding and the blending of Eastern and Western traditions when it comes to medicine. So, um, when it comes to like everything in India, it has a relationship with religion. However, Ayurveda again is not a religion. Due to the fact that some people felt like it was a religion, some people kind of forced it to go underground, and so it couldn't be practiced here in the United States the way that it was practiced in other places, like in India. And although, so you may go to a doctor's office, and your doctor might be Indian and might say something that sounds completely strange to you, but it's really not strange because that goes along with the Ayurvedic tradition. Um, so, perspectives, there's a linear perspective, and then there's a circular organic expansion. There's Vedic texts that are involved. The tradition has a great appeal. The insights of Ayurveda are incredible. They will really help you feel really, really good. Um, I like I said in the last one, Ayurveda is the a term that's used today, and it's really generic, and it's combining sense-based empirical medicine with meditation and those types of things, and it's always been used in huge formulations in India, and now it's here. Well, it's been here, but now there is a certifying body, so it's getting out there even more and more and more. Um, Developed, we got to go back all the way like 5,000 plus years ago or 5,000 years ago. And people lived close to the cycles of nature. So back then, the cycles of nature were important. Well, why wouldn't they be important now? They are. And that's what the history of Ayurveda is about and what Ayurveda is about because we need to go ahead, go with the cycles of the moon, go with the cycles of nature. The moon is part of nature, water. Um, Go ahead and go along with the seasons. Eat vegetables that are in season and not those that are out of season simply because you can find them, right? Um, we need to go ahead and if it's cold out, put something on. If it's warm out, take some things off. Go with the cycle of nature. So here's a brief timetable of Ayurveda. So 1500 BC, the Vedic religion, there were 125 herb medicines that were mentioned. And then around 600 BC, there was the traditions of Buddhism and a growth in what is now called Hinduism. And between 150 BCE and 100 CE, the Charak Samhita, it was the earliest complete Ayurvedic treatise or text. So a lot of what you learn about Ayurveda comes from there. Most of the time it's in Hindu, so I don't know if I would try to read it. You can though. I mean, it's in Sanskrit. At that time, herbs were classified by their action and morphology. Action, 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 energetics. Then and came the Samruta. Samruta Smita, which was a surgical text. So, see, there is a surgical component. No one's in denial. Sometimes surgery is something that is necessary. After that was the Davantari Nakantu. Ha ha ha. We'll see. I'll get that. It's an early compilation of herbs, and it was put together into certain functional groups based on the properties of the herbs. After that came the Astanga Samhita by Bhagavati. So if you were looking for that, you'd look up Bhagavati, which is Bagbhata, Bhagavata, or Bhagavat. And that is the work on the essence of Ayurveda. Next came another text that was all about pathology. Sound like some familiar terms in Western medicine too, huh? Because it is the same in a certain way. So, of course, pathology exists, some property or disease exists, and there's something that we have to do about them. Next came early text that was very similar to a previous one. Then there was another one about that had hatha yoga in it. So yes, Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga. It's not just for exercise because actually yoga is to help quiet the mind. And here in the United States of America, we use it a lot as exercise, but that wasn't the original purpose of it. It's not about your hamstrings, is what people say, although a lot of times we focus on it and the flexibility. It's about going within. Let's see, what else? In about 1300, there was an early alchemical treatise, so a book about alchemy. And then some more compilations were made about herbs and minerals. And I'm not going to read them all. Let me see what else can I tell you about it. Ultimately, we hit around, let's see, 1760, and there was Materia Medica, and they added to it, which is basically, the ways that you use the herbs in medicine. And then they just built onto that and onto that and onto that. And so, yeah, there's a lot of history that goes along with it. This might have been a really boring one. However, I just want people to understand that as a nurse practitioner who was trained in Western medicine, I believe that Western medicine has its place. I just don't believe that that is everything. And I really want to help empower people. So the historical perspective gives you the perspective, the fact that it's not something that just suddenly popped up, even if you're just now hearing about it. If you have questions about anything about the history of it, about how it fell out of favor with Orthodox religions, about how empirical medicine is actually based on a lot of the concepts of Ayurveda, you can always look me up. If you want an assessment, you can always hit me up, www.temeakagrayl.com. My email, temeaka.gray@gmail.com. That's TEM as in Mary, EAKA.GRAY @gmail.com. So that's a little bit of the history, and the whole reason for this was so that you knew that number one, we all know history is important, but this way you know that this is grounded science. Just because it wasn't here in the United States doesn't mean it was not factual, that it was not real, and that it was not important. If you look through a lot of things, as a matter of fact, go to Rite Aid or some grocery store, drugstore, and you may see some of the herbs that are actually used in Ayurveda and have been used in Ayurveda for a really long time now in those grocery stores. So again, I did this just so that you would know history, a little bit about the history of Ayurveda, and hear my passion even about that. I want people to understand that you can mix Eastern and Western things together. You can mix meditation, slow, deep breathing, and things like that, and come out on the other side a different person. Now, it may take a little bit longer to make it work than the Band-Aid that sometimes we have to use. And when I say Band-Aid, I'm not using that negatively. Sometimes we have to stop the bleeding so that you can survive and be healthy, and we have to do something immediately. That may be something for pain, that may be an antibiotic, that may be a blood pressure medicine. And as an Ayurvedic practitioner, I'm not going to tell you, okay, we need to stop that immediately, because that would be unethical and it would be downright dangerous. So, again, and I'm not going to just tell people to go out there and buy this herb and try it on their own. If you're interested in a consultation, go ahead and look me up. You can also send a text to, well, no, I got this text something and I don't know the number by heart. So maybe I'll put that on the next video. But you can go ahead, email me. You can go to my website. And if you have any questions, I'm there to answer them. All right. Temeaka Ayurveda, Thursday night. Thankful Thursday. I'm thankful for all of you. Namaste.